ci fanno dormire, cose che non si possono dire.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Ernie Johnson,
Dynamic duo.
동전한 입조차 쉽고 일 없어. 잠 못 들던 그때보다 조금은 일었어. 우리는 바보처럼 몸으로 부딪히면서.
It's an all-Western Conference matchup in today's game as the Nuggets come into town for this one. Hi, everyone. We're happy to have you with us for this edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, and here with me today, Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony.
Let's get a nice clean game, huh?
Tip-off goes to the Lakers. Now let's take a look at the Nuggets opening lineup. Gallinari sits outside at 3 with Fareed at the 4. Routier out there with Harris.
Defensively, that possession better not start a trend because they just handed him 2 points. And, you know, one thing that comes to mind with Kobe is his incredible dedication to winning. I mean, you wonder if that has turned off potential free agents. Maybe he's a bit too competitive, but, you know, when you're in the business of competing, hard for me to imagine you can be too competitive.
Now, here's Cousins, and Gary Harris is going to pick up the foul. That's his first foul.
And really, these are some of the toughest calls an official has to make.
Yeah, but in this case, I think he got it right. I mean, the defender was still moving there and never really had good legal guarding position. He wasn't set.
He came off the screen and finished with authority.
And it was the screen there, guys, that freed him up as he ran his man into it.
And then it was all acceleration, GA, to the bucket right after that.
Almost a backboard breaker.
Now, here is Gallinari. Clock at 6. Pass to Jokic. And he gets it to go. Denver on D. Again, Doris Burke spoke with Mike Malone. Doris?
We discussed their defensive strategy going up against Kobe Bryant. He said, well, he probably has the best footwork of any player in the game. You can't give him any room in his jump shot, but when he's got all those fakes, it's so tough. Guys, he said he knows Kobe is going to get his points. They just want to try to limit his efficiency out there. Guess we'll see how they do.
Always great to hear from you, Doris.
Talk about a great start. 3 of 3 from the field to get the game going. They're cooking with gas, folks.
Moutier, marvelous lead pass, and he throws it down.
And that is a major league flush right there, my friends.
And in a tight contest like this, Greg, that might be just what they need to get the tide rolling in their direction.
You're exactly right. I mean, so often when a team gets that kind of explosive play out of its backcourt, that can really rally and galvanize the whole squad.
Now, here is Gallinari. Screen by Fareed. Over to the left wing. Harris outside. From the baseline. Moutier, no good.
And a lot of teams are looking for coaches that embrace analytics and look at data-driven approaches. Coach Scott is not one of those guys. He's an old-school coach who goes with his own perception.
Here's Fareed following the basket by DeMarcus Cousins. And Harris wide open. He shoots, gets the jumper from the corner to fall.
Let's go.
Harris has got his first basket.
And how about the bounce pass there being used to perfection?
Puts up the baby hook. And Bryant the bucket on the assist by Cousins. And former coach of the year Byron Scott now with the Lakers. And as you said, Greg, he's not an analytics guy. And Clark, I think he's a guy that the eye test for him is huge.
Yeah, he feels a lot. Terrific communicator and storyteller. Great experience as a player and as a champion. And I think that all is evident in his coaching style.
And the story here, Kevin, early on is how well they've shot the basketball.
Very high percentage so far. And if you want to start a game hot, that's the way to do it. He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
And some changes here for the Lakers. Brandon Bass is checked in for Cousins. Williams comes into Speedy. And it's Clarkson in for Russell. Levert, he's checked in for Denver. Will Barton comes in for Fareed.
And I like the job they've done with working the basketball. They've been moving and getting quality shots.
And, Greg, their field goal percentage reflects that. I mean, they've been the much better team shooting the ball. And you know me, shooting percentage, always a function of shot selection.
And Los Angeles with some changes. Randall's checked in for Nance. Young is subbed in for Bryant. The Nuggets also changing it up. Terrell Arthur, he's checked in for Gallinari. Chandler comes in for Harris. And DJ Augustine subbed in for Moutier. Augustine, no luck. Lakers leading by 8. To the inside, here's Clarkson. And the lead now, double digits on that bucket.
They're really struggling defensively, giving up too many easy buckets.
A great point. Really an embarrassing performance defensively, and the coaching staff can't be happy.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Nuggets.
And, you know, for Brandon Bass, such a big asset to Boston last year, and they're pushed to make the playoffs, especially after the Celtics had traded away several key veterans. His toughness, his strong mid-range game, that all helped.
A platoon swap here for the Lakers.
You know, they don't score on that shot, but they're going to be happy with those kinds of possessions. No doubt they've come into this game with a really aggressive approach, just pounding the ball inside.
It certainly is working. They're finding the open lanes to the hoop and owning this game early.
Now here is Augustine. To the paint, here's Arthur. The rebound by Nance. And going back to Brandon Bass, he was Boston's only enforcer down low once Sullinger went out with a broken foot. At that point, Greg, no one thought the Celtics would make the playoffs, but Bass helped push them in.
And last season, one of the most meaningful in Bass's career in terms of his contributions really counting toward the bottom line. A lifetime role player, the outcomes of many games last year were swayed by how well he performed.
The shot's good from... Bryant.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Great ball movement.
Here's Barton. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. There's a good screen. Pass to Augustine. Launches it. And released it in time, but it's off the mark. And Kobe Bryant dealing with the wear and tear of decades in the league. He talks about...
Well, you have to make adjustments. You try to figure out what you can.
Well, at Kobe's age and with the 2 years worth of injuries, is coming back for him just a matter of Greg adjustments? Or is that another way of saying he has to limit everyone's expectation, including his own?
You know what? When it comes to Kobe Bryant, history has shown that the normal rules just don't apply. I think it's the rest of the league that's going to have to adjust to a well-rested and still very lethal Black Mamba.
And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. And guys, the Lakers enjoying a nice lead here.
It's been about the pace. You can see they're going to try to keep this game in the open floor.
Yeah, and it's been a tempo that they like, and they're getting some easy buckets in transition here.
And a moment now to reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up for the second quarter of basketball. So for the Lakers right now, Julius Randle is out there with Brandon Bass. Then there's Nick Young. Then it's Williams. And it's Huertas in at the point. 2 straight seasons of no playoffs for the Lakers after last year's miss. Not what they were hoping for.
It's going to be a growing process, Kevin. I mean, they had a young team and an injured superstar in Kobe both years. Hard to make the playoffs in that situation.
Just over a minute gone here in the second quarter. Now here's Moutier. He's guarded by Russell. It's deflected, and the officials now calling the shooting foul. He got a lot of ball on the block, but also got the body, so some free throws coming up right now.
And guys, for the Lakers, you'd have to go back almost 40 years to find a time when the Lakers missed the postseason in back-to-back years. Fortunately for them, they won 2 titles in the next 6 years after that.
Both free throws good from Moutier.
And it's doubtful that the Lakers will win multiple titles in the coming years unless something drastic happens. Still, this is a franchise committed to success, and they'll do whatever it takes to get back into the postseason.
Denver with a tough year last season.
They can't guard us
losses for them on the road as it would go like Clark, only 11 and 30 away from the Mile High City.
Yeah, and Kevin, they ended the season on a 5-game road losing streak as well. I mean, they had mostly given up at that point as they had tried to develop young players, and it just kind of blew up on them down the stretch.
A nice shot by Gallinari.
And he came off that screen, and the D just didn't get over the top of it.
Yep, weren't there in time enough to challenge Greg, and when that's the case, you can mark those up for him.
So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
A big problem for the Nuggets last year is that they just couldn't hit shots away from home. I mean, they finished in the bottom 5 in terms of field goal percentage on the road. And just a little bit ragged defensively there, Clark.
Hey, I've got one more note on the Nuggets and the road. I mean, when you shoot as poorly as they did, as you mentioned, you start to lose some confidence and second-guess things. It's a lot harder to fight through shooting slumps like that in somebody else's building, no doubt. There are a lot of bigger power forwards than him in the NBA, but very few that rise up like he can.
Poked loose. It's stolen by Bass. Here's Slater. Good. It's Cousins picking up the assist. And 11 points for Speedy.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at either end, steals, fast break buckets, and the other team scrambling to find its game.
Great point. I mean, that aggression has allowed them to just create a lot of havoc, and boy, are they taking advantage.
Cutting into that lead a little bit. Way to finish.
And the basket is still shaking.
Oh, I mean, he has got power in bunches on that two-hand.
And yes, sir, that one drops. And it's 13 points for Kobe Bryant.
And this collapse we've seen by their interior defense, it's really the reason why they've struggled and are in such a hole.
Screen by Nurkic. Here's Harris. Another shot, and Fareed lays it in. Fareed's got 8.
Yeah, field goal percentage above 50 now. Their offense is starting to show.
And, you know, that's a really good sign. I mean, they stumbled out of the gate, but they're starting to look a little better now. Regaining some ground.
Last season, Kobe with some thoughts on the development of U.S. players last season. Felt that the AAU system, Clark, was problematic.
And I would not disagree specifically in this regard. Too much focus on playing games and winning versus skill development.
Jordan Clarkson, he's checked in for Russell. And a look at how the hustle game has been going for Los Angeles.
They've come out in attack mode on the defensive end. They've applied pressure and forcing turnovers.
They also came out of the locker room with their running shoes on. I mean, their transition game has been full throttle.
And that one's good. Gallinari's got 7 points here in this quarter.
And with Kobe, who's just so skilled, that critique holds water. Kobe felt that Europeans came into the with more of a skill set because they learn how to play the game a little bit more collectively than the American players.
Inside, and that one's good. Jokic. He's got 6.
They have repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid dividends.
And with as many points as they've gotten in the paint, you know, they haven't had to do much work on the perimeter.
Boy, he threw out some punishment with that two-hand throwdown.
And Clark, now's the time to do it. Continue to attack that rim. You know, for Kobe's statement, it's hard to measure something like skill with metrics. I mean, you look at shooting and free throw percentages, and there isn't too much of a difference between U.S. and European players.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles. Julius Randle's checked in for Cousins. Nance comes in for Brandon Bass. Young's checked in for Bryant. And it's Williams in for Speedy. Randle passes to Clarkson. Tanking is something that all teams that are out of it tend to do. I hate that word, Clark, but it seems to be the one used by a lot. Nuggets didn't really try to hide it last season either.
Well, you know, it certainly looked that way. Right around March, they just started sitting key players for no. No real reason. They framed it as rest, but it didn't quite look that way.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles. DeMarcus Cousins is checked in for Randle. Kobe comes in for Nick Young. And Speedy subbed in for Lou Williams. Slater.
I mean, I like the call. I thought the defense was just there a little late.
Yeah, it looked like it. I mean, he kind of slid underneath as he got to the spot, too.
The Lakers have hit all 4 of their chances so far in this one.
And team stats last season, 74% shooting, so some numbers that they can definitely improve upon.
And, you know, whenever they get into a stretch where it looked like maybe they would turn it around at the line, they would immediately take a step back.
Lakers leading by 19. Outside, Kobe. He kicks it to Clarkson. Barton with the rebound. And now, here comes Augustine leading the break. That's good.
That's a quick bucket there. Solid in transition.
Well, you know, he loves the chance to get out and run, and we could see right there why he does.
Los Angeles shooting their 7th and 8th attempts at the foul line tonight, and he makes the first. Both shots good from the stripe. And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. Los Angeles on top, up 19. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
In the event an emergency evacuation of Staples Center becomes necessary, please walk calmly out and away from the facility.
Hey again, everybody. We've been watching a pretty lopsided game through the first half, that's for sure. I'm Ernie Johnson, joined again by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. It's the Lakers out on top at halftime. They are dominating the scoring, leading by 19. Kenny?
Well, their field goal percentage is a number that jumps off the page. May I say it's Shaq-like?
That's a good one.
Seriously, they're incredibly efficient shooting the basketball, and I don't think they settle for any bad shots. And you're never going to go wrong with that strategy.
And, big fella, let's get your thoughts on the Nuggets.
Well, they run into a very hot shooting team tonight, fellas. And you combine a hot shooting team with the weak defense they've been playing, you're going to get crushed. I hope coach is coming down hard on them right now because they can't keep giving up so many open looks. What are you doing?
And that's going to do it for now as the second half is almost ready to get started. Back to Kevin Hart.
And as we welcome you back, we begin our second half. So far, not a tightly contested game, guys, but, you know, anything can happen. What a game we're seeing from Speedy.
How about the magic touch he had on display there in that first half in terms of finding his teammates? Just a plethora of assists.
Plethora, you're going deep into that dictionary of yours, man. It's not a common occurrence with this guy, though. Typically, he's more of a finisher, but that's not been the case in this one.
Second half underway. Here's who Mike Malone's got on the floor. Gallinari sits outside at 3 with Farid at the 4. Harris is out there with Moutier. And there's the pass to Jokic. Feeds to Gallinari. Shot clock at 5. Here's Moutier. Tried to answer back, but that 3 is off the mark. And here we go. And Bryant gets it to go. Kobe's got 17.
Just Mr. Reliable again here today, Kevin. I mean, they need his points, and he's producing.
Now here's Moutier. Defense right on him. He dishes it to Farid, and he bangs it home with one hand.
Kevin, he's been a bright spot in what's otherwise been a little bit of a struggle for this team.
Lakers were awful in a lot of aspects last season, and their play at home was a major one. Greg, they just couldn't do anything at home, and I think the fans were giving up hope as well.
And given how pricey those Laker tickets are, Kevin,
yeah,
there was a lot to be salty out in Laker land, so can't be a bottom dweller and charge that much for seats.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles. Julius Randle's checked in for Cousins. Young comes in for Kobe, and it's Williams in for Speedy. Moutier kicks to Fareed. The shot no good. Good defensive work there by Young.
You know, the Lakers were a bottom dweller last year. I mean, their home record was 12 and 29, guys. That was tied for the second worst mark in the NBA.
Three-pointer, good, and it's Russell picking up the assist. Young's got himself on the board with 3 there.
This looks like a pregame shoot-around with all the threes they're allowing.
I don't know. There might... Now that's the way it's done. Take it up high and throw it down with everything you got.
That's right. Clark, he was not going to take the soft approach on that drive.
I would certainly hope not. I mean, you get that kind of opportunity with little resistance from the defense, you got to take it.
That was a nice replay brought to you by Kia.
No, I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
Yeah, if you're going to foul, then make sure that you don't give a chance for the and one. You know, the Nuggets could create their offense, but they still would have trouble knocking down the shots. Just didn't have a lot of dead-eye laser shooters. Every field goal attempt with them was an adventure.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles, DeMarcus Cousins. He's checked in for Julius Randle. Bryant comes in for Young, and Speedy subbed in for Lou Williams. Here's Moutier. Will not go. This is off the front iron. Nuggets did have their problems on the offensive end, too, something that's rare for them, hitting the open shot and the mid-range shot and beyond being one of them.
You know, Kevin, how about being last in the league in catch-and-shoot field goal percentage? I mean, got a good amount of looks that way, but really struggled shooting only 34% in those situations.
Tell you what, this is some serious showmanship here. Loving that tomahawk.
Clark, came with force, and that's not just getting 2 points. He was sending a message.
Making a statement.
And also a momentum shifter. I mean, the energy, you can see it. Take a look at the bench. Those guys are fired up. That makes you want to fight.
And that one's good. 10 points for Gary Harris.
Another bucket in the paint. That's something they just have not been able to stop today.
Yeah, the defense is all about disrupting timing and spacing, and what they've got going right now is not getting it done.
For Denver, they've gone 5 of 9 on field goal attempts since half. Time. Nurkic a screen on Russell. Now here's Moutier. He's guarded by Russell. They get it back, and he'll shoot free throws here. Clearly fouled on that shot that time. The whistle blowing. And let's get your guys' take now on the hustle stats for the Lakers.
I thought we might see the defense adjust at halftime to slow the break, but that has not been the case.
Something else they've done is force a lot of mistakes defensively, and they've been turning those turnovers into points.
And the Nuggets making a change here. Laverne, he's checked in for Nurkic. Arthur comes in for Gallinari. Wilson Chandler's checked in for Jakar Sampson. And it's Will Barton in for Gary Harris. Here's Cousins. An absolute bomb from three-point range. Cousins has got 13.
Not shy from outside. There's no doubt about that. Spreading the floor and getting them up.
Love the mentality there, I tell you. I know I've never coached, but, man, playing to win and being aggressive even with the lead as opposed to being safe and going into prevent offense, I'll take the former all day long. Play to win.
And Bryant gets it to go.
These defenders are putting up very little resistance to the three-point shot.
And it's killing them. 4 of the last 5 makes coming from long range.
Chandler and the rejection by Cousins. Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. Laverne grabs the miss.
And just because you can make it from outside doesn't mean you need to live there.
Not that far out anyway, Greg. I mean, he can work for a better shot than that.
Here's Moutier. It's tipped. Takes a 3. Oh, and he just knocked down the buzzer beater.
And money to end the quarter there with the triple.
They knew exactly what they wanted to do right there, Greg, and the timing was right on time.
And we're getting underway here in the fourth quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here.
I'm putting you in. Let's go.
They've got Jordan Clarkson. Brandon Bass is out there with Randall. Then there's Nick Young. And it's Huertas in at the one spot. That's the Laker 5.
Flying high. And throwing down the hard one-hander.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys.
And really, he does that one as well as anyone. Kev, you're right. That's like his signature move once he goes airborne. They've shown some strength in the paint today. Their work on the boards has been impressive.
Guys, that's putting it mildly. I mean, they've been absolutely dominant.
And Augustine kicks to Laverne. Nurkic a screen on Bass. Screen by Nurkic. Here's the screen. Shot, high post. Kept alive.
Just a really solid display there of rebounding. They've done it really all game.
Dominating on the glass, Greg. I mean, a huge advantage for them in that particular category.
And really, as the three-pointers keep dropping, you get the sense that the frustration is mounting for the defense.
Yeah, and they either have been unwilling or unable to take that shot away.
Shot clock at 6. Here's Arthur. And again, Denver no good.
As a player, you always want to be able to answer back, but he just didn't have it in him that time.
That one goes. Count.
Well, in this run... triggered by their transition offense.
And you can see the momentum swinging now. They've gotten a huge boost of energy, and now the offense starting to click.
Shots good by Laverne.
And that's almost automatic anytime he can get the ball in that position.
Last quarter of play, about 2 minutes in now. And the basket good. Bass has got a couple of three-pointers now in the fourth for the Lakers.
12 straight points off of three-pointers, and the D looks shell-shocked.
And guys, now that they're rolling from out there, the defense has to really get up into them. You've got to almost be in their jerseys to try to deny those looks.
And that one's good.
And how about the last 5 made shots have all been threes? The defense is just giving up a barrage.
Most teams get the message to cover shooters after 1 or 2 wide open looks at the three-point shot, but it seems like they have just not figured it out.
And good on the basket. Book it.
Wow, got that one off right in the face of the big fella. Nice quick-fire release.
Yeah, and the mid-range shot really the only option in that situation. Sometimes when you're facing a bigger guy, you can't get it all the way to the rim.
Now here is Augustine. He's tightly guarded. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
They haven't had as much success in the paint here. Everything has been from the perimeter here in the second half, and that's not a winning strategy. They've got to get back to getting that ball inside.
Wilson Chandler's checked in for Denver. Dishes to Arthur. Sampson kicks to Augustine. Takes the assist and lays it in. Picked out the pass nicely.
That's how to orchestrate for your teammate. Terrific pass.
From deep. And another 3 for the Lakers.
The defense a step slow. You can see the results.
Greg, that's 3 in a row from out there now, so they've got to do a better job contesting.
On the wing, Chandler.
2 minutes remaining in the game. 2 minutes.
Arthur sets the pick for Chandler.
Blocking foul. Larry Nance. That's his first personal foul, second team foul.
We've got 1:55 left in the fourth quarter. Shot from 16. Can't get it to go. And it's the Lakers the other way. Inside, Cousins dishes to Russell. Nance passes to Slater. Launches a 3. And another 3 for the Lakers.
And they clearly are just destroying this group right now from the three-point line.
Yeah, and the defense knows it. I mean, they are fully stretched out trying to stop the three-point shot and still haven't been able to do it.
And so it's going to end up in the record books as a blowout, a dominating performance for Los Angeles.
But, Steve, you know, you don't see this kind of a blowout often. But tonight, this is a quality win across the board to deliver out Clark this kind of punishment to him.
Well, you know what? I thought they did a nice job of playing against the game. They kept the pressure on and clearly were dominating every area.
And what a huge standout performance it was for Bryant. You look at the energy he brought on both ends of the floor, and it's easy to see why he was a difference maker.
Chandler attacking, lays it up and banks it in.
And this run not really doing him any good at this point, as late as it's starting to evolve.
Yeah, but kudos to him, Greg. I mean, the fight they're showing now, you got to give them credit for that. It would have been really easy to pack it in.
Terrific run to seal the deal.
Yeah, and now let's just keep an eye on how much longer they keep the foot on the accelerator.
And there's Augustine. That's good on the assist by Chandler.
Outstanding entry pass there. He knew exactly where to go with the ball.
That's good. That's now 32 points for Speedy.
The fans are just loving what's going on here tonight. A really good win for the home team.
It sure is. I mean, they kept this crowd in the game, gave them plenty to cheer about, and really used that home court advantage to their advantage.
Outside, Russell misses the deep three-point attempt. And so it's the Lakers taking care of business here. It was a tale of two teams tonight, one that was in total control, operating flawlessly, and Clark the other just searching for answers that they could never find.
Well, I think these fans, too, Kevin, gave their team a tremendous lift. I mean, they never gave up on them. From the opening tip until the end of the game, they were in it. And that certainly helped this crew get to the W.
And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Well, DeMarcus, congratulations on the win tonight. We know you're a very intense player, but tonight you certainly seem to be having a lot of fun out there.
That's the thing. I'm just trying to come out here and have fun. I got a lot going for myself, and I'm too blessed to be out here frowning all the time. So I'm going to try to keep a smile on my face.
We love to see you smile, DeMarcus. Thanks for the time. Guys?
Thank you, Doris. Great interview once again. And that about wraps it up. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in. See you later.
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. Kenny the Jet Smith is here, so is Shaquille O'Neal. Time now for some highlights as we take a look at our Jordan Player of the Game. Let's go to Shaq. What can you say about his performance?
I don't know if there's a fan base that loves their star more than this guy. Wow. I'm getting jealous, and he feeds off that support. Once they got behind him, he became unstoppable, man.
He was dead on from the field tonight, guys. I'd call his performance economical because there was no wasted opportunities. He took advantage of every good look he got. I mean, everything he put up was going in.
And that's it for our broadcast here tonight. But we're just getting started on a new season in the NBA. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. We'll see you again soon.